Hi, welcome back to the course of Fundamental of Food Preparation. Today, we are going to do our third practical class, which is practical number 3, which about preparation of food using moist heat cooking methods. The objective of this practical class are, first, to study the effect of boiling, simmering, poaching, stewing, and steaming on the foods. And the second one is to investigate the principle of pressure cooking. Cooking always requires the transfer of heat from a heat source to the food being cooked. Understanding how each process works will help us to determine which cooking method is most appropriate for the result we are trying to achieve. The manner in which heat is applied to the food during cooking will determine the type of cooking method used. Generally, the type of cooking methods can be classified under 3 categories, which is first one is moist heat cooking methods, second one is dry heat cooking method, and then third one is the combination of both methods. Moist heat cooking methods are referred to those cooking methods that use water, steam, air, and other liquid to transfer heat to the food for cooking. There are several cooking methods that use moist heat to cook the food, includes boiling, simmering, poaching, stewing, blanching, steaming, and also pressure cooking. Alright, for this practical class, you will have to perform 4 tasks. The task number 1 is very simple, which is boiling. For task number 1, you will require several equipment and some consumable. For the equipment, you will need a sauce pot, a plate, and also a tongue, and together with the kitchen towel. And then for consumable, we're going to use 3 medium of eggs and then 3 cups of plain water. Begin task 1 by pouring 3 cups of water in the sauce pot. And then followed by putting the eggs inside. Next, place the sauce pot on the stove and boil it until it has rolling, steady, more aggressive bubble, maybe for around 10 minutes. After it's done, by using tongue, lift the egg from the sauce pot into a colander. And let it cool down. And it is done. Alright, the second task for this practical class is blanching. Alright, for this task, you will require several equipment and some consumable as well. For the equipment, we're going to use a sauce pot for boiling purpose, a paring knife for peeling the potato, a chopping board, a tongue, and also a plate. And for consumable, we're going to use 3 medium of potato, 3 cups of hot water or plain water, and then 3 cups of cold water. Begin this task by pouring 3 cups of plain water into sauce pots. The ratio of water and potato is 4:1. Then, place the sauce pot on the stove and then cook it until it's boiling. When the water begins to boil, dip the potatoes into the boiling water for 2 minutes. After it's done, lift the potatoes into a colander by using tongue. After it's done, immediately transfer them into cold water and then leave them for 2 minutes. Next, take out the potato from cold water and peel their skin. And it's done. The next task is steaming. For this task, we are going to prepare a bread pudding. Alright, for this task, you will require several equipment and consumables as well. For the equipment, we're going to use a stove steamer, a loaf pan, a big mixing bowl, a food measure, a wooden spoon, a chef knife, and then cutting board, and together one of the plate for the serving purpose. For consumable, you will require several items as well. First, we're going to use 8 pieces of bread, 3 big size of eggs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of butter for the greasing purpose, 1 tablespoon of black rising for the garnishing purpose, 2 tablespoons of white sugar, 1 can of evaporated milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and the last one is 1 cup of hot water. Alright, for this task, begin with adding some water into the stove steamer and preheat the stove steamer for 10 minutes. After that, take 8 pieces of bread and cut them into smaller pieces by using chef knife. Next, put the cut bread into the big mixing bowl. And then pour some hot water. It is followed by mashing the bread until it becomes soft and uniform in terms of consistency and texture. Okay, next pour the evaporated milk into the mixture and stir the mixture by using wooden spoon. And next, add some sugar and also some salt. And stir the mixture again until the sugar and salt is well dissolved. Next, add the eggs and stir again the mixture evenly. After that, add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then stir the mixture again. Finally, add 1 teaspoon of baking powder for leavening purpose. And stir the mixture again until they are mixed evenly. After it's well mixed, pour the mixture into the loaf pan. Apply some butter on the inner surface of loaf pan for the greasing purpose. Next, put the loaf pan into stove steamer and leave it for 30 to 40 minutes. After it's done, take out the loaf pan and then put it aside to let it cool down. After the pudding cooled down, remove the bread pudding from the loaf pan and then by using serrated knife, cut the bread pudding into smaller pieces. You may cut the bread pudding according to your desired size. And next, transfer the bread pudding into a small plate. And next, you may pour some custard sauce on top of bread pudding and scatter the black icing on the top of it for garnishing. And finally, your perfect bread pudding is ready to be served to your guests or family members. Alright, the next task is mixing. So for this task, we are going to prepare the custard sauce that will be used as a sauce to the bread pudding. For this task, you will require several equipments and consumables as well. For the equipments, we're going to use a saucepan and also a wooden spoon. Alright, and then for consumable, we're going to use 3 tablespoons of the custard powder, 1 can of evaporated milk, 1 tablespoon of white sugar, 1/3 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extracts, and then 1 cup of plain water. For this task, begin with mixing all the ingredients into the saucepan. Begin with adding evaporated milk, followed by adding some plain water, and then stir the mixture a bit. Next, add some sugar, and then followed by add some salt. Stir the mixture until sugar and salt dissolve. Next, add custard flour, and stir the mixture again. Please make sure there is no clump visible. Finally, add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extracts. And stir the mixture again evenly. After that, place the saucepan on the stove and heat the mixture until it's boiled. The mixture must be stirred during the boiling to avoid scorching. After the sauce becomes concentrated, transfer the sauce into a bowl for cooling process. And it's done. Alright, I think that's all for practical class number 3. So I hope you are able to perform all the tasks assigned. I wish you all the best. See you in the next practical class. Goodbye.